Hello, my name's Stephen Cromedy and thank you for joining me. You've obviously made the decision to sell. With COVID amongst us, there's restrictions and we're probably not quite sure how to go about it. There is a way, and in this masterclass, I'll show you what it is that you need to do to prepare your house, engage the service of an agent and bring your home to market. Traditionally, we would call a real estate agent, they'd come around and they'd have a physical inspection. And at that physical inspection, traditionally we would show them through from front through to the back of the property, pointing out the key areas that we feel build the perceived value in the home. Now there's a way that we can do that. All we need to do is use one of these to connect with an agent and use a platform such as FaceTime. What we want to do, we want to make sure that we're giving them the same experience. We're covering off not only on the features and benefits, we're not only covering off on the areas that we feel will draw buyers in, we're making them aware of the things that they can't see. The things such as, for instance, insulation or rewiring, or the things that purchasers need to be aware of that might detract them from purchasing the property. We want to eliminate any surprises, as well as ensuring that the agent has a comprehensive view for marketing purposes and, most importantly, for pricing purposes. With this agent, you want to get to know them a little bit further. You would like to know not only how much the property's worth, and now that they have a better understanding of the home, you'd be thinking to yourself, well, what questions do I ask the agent and how do I ensure I'm engaging the right agent? Well, these are the type of questions that you'd ask the agent just as though you were there, with a few extra things just to safeguard you, to make sure that you are vetting the agent correctly. So let's have a look at the normal things that you would typically ask an agent. Let's look at the 3 or 4 most important ones, because what we're looking for is evidence that shows that they're the right agent. So for instance, do you have any buyers? Can you show me a list of the buyers? What will your plan be if the database buyers don't purchase my home? And how do you negotiate the highest possible price when you find the best buyer? We're looking to test the agent's skill, and how they answer these 8 questions will give you the ability to determine if this is the right agent for you. What about the open platforms that we've suggested you look at? Google and Facebook. By reviewing these platforms and looking at the evidence that they've either been able to provide or not provide, puts you in a position where you now feel comfortable knowing that you're going to be able to choose the right agent. The biggest question everyone has when selling is, well, how much is this going to cost me? What are my fees going to be? Well, typically there's going to be 2 fees. The fee to the agent and the marketing fee. What I'm going to suggest at this point is just remember the cheapest agent isn't always the best agent. And one simple question that you can ask an agent when it comes to fees is, what's your advertised or what's your standard fee, and what's the best fee that you're prepared to do it for? Just remember this, an agent who is quick to drop their fee is probably going to be quick to drop your price. And what you're looking for at the moment is an agent with high skill who will have the ability to navigate you through these uncertain times. The market has been so strong, it's been so vibrant. Buyers have been fighting over homes, you know that. But with COVID, everything's changed. And what you're going to need, and what you're going to need to be able to identify you're getting, is a strong negotiator. What do all strong negotiators have in common? Their ability to negotiate the best terms and the best price. And they're the 2 pressing things that you're going to need to make sure that your agent can handle: terms and price. Coupled with the negotiation skills are problem-solving skills, but strong negotiators are great problem solvers. And typically in a market like this that has the many complications, this is going to be the difference between 2 things happening. First of all, you even having the ability to engage with a buyer. Secondly, it could be the difference between receiving tens of thousands of dollars extra in your pocket. With a strong negotiator, what do they have in common? Well, because they're going to fight for their fee. If a strong negotiator isn't fighting for their fee, well, at that point, you know you don't have a strong negotiator. Pretty funny, isn't it? But that's the reality. A strong negotiator, that's going to be their number one trait they all have. A strong negotiator will feel comfortable explaining to you how they're going to work with a buyer in order to get them up in price. Why? Because they've done it. And I want you to think of this as a job interview because you're the employer and this person sitting in front of you in a job interview in front of their future employer. If they're not comfortable talking about negotiation, and this is the strongest skill set that you're going to require, this is either A, an elimination process, or B, the selection process, because they've done exactly what it is they were meant to. It's decision time. You've asked all the questions. You've got a good understanding as to whether or not this is the right agent or wrong agent. You're now making the decision that, hey, I've got the right agent or we have the right agent, let's press the button. So what's pressing the button look like at the moment with COVID? Using a platform such as DocuSign. It's a secure program and it's widely used and you've probably already used it yourself. So we can get the paperwork done with the agent using DocuSign. A conveyancer or solicitor, we need to engage their services. If you don't already have one, your agent will be able to recommend one. Why? Because they need to order the contract for sale. And the good news is with all the madness that's going on with the restrictions, contract for sales, all the supporting documentation can still be provided. So once you've got that contract for sale, depending on what restrictions are happening in your area, you're either ready to start meeting the purchasers and get started, or you're well ahead of everyone else that'll be taking step one that you've already taken when all the restrictions open up. And that's the game here. And that's what we want to do. We want to put you in a position where you're either meeting the purchasers now or meeting the purchasers before everyone else does when the restrictions ease. So what's left to do now is to do the photography. We've chosen the agent, we've activated the services, but what do we do in relation to getting some images so they can go online, so they can go on the platforms and the portals that allow the agent to engage with a broader audience? Do we wait for restrictions to ease and have the photographers in? Well, I'm suggesting no. I'm suggesting you use one of these. Something as simple as this. To get what we call the dollar shots. We don't need 15 photos. We don't need 20 photos. And what we're going to do, we're going to focus on 3 to 5 really good shots. 3 to 5 dollar shots. Why do we call them the dollar shots? Because these are the shots that show the value in the home. These are the shots that pull on the heartstrings of our purchasers. So why don't we talk about how we're going to shoot these photos and what the photos will be of? Well, there's live mode, there's sell mode. What's live mode? You're in live mode right now. What's sell mode? Sell mode involves cleaning off bench tops, decluttering, getting rid of shampoo bottles, the magnets and photos off your fridge. It gives the ability for someone to see themselves in the home rather than see your personal effects. And then what we want to do, we want to make sure that we're taking the photos with the agent's assistance. Communicate with the agent, see what photos they would like to see. Because remember, they've done the tour with you. You've given them a comprehensive view of the home. So what's next? You'll be guided by what's next by the agent. If the restrictions enable them to bring purchases through and you're comfortable with it, that's what you'll be doing. If the restrictions don't allow you to do that, well then ask the real estate agent what's the best approach. The best approach could be providing a digital walkthrough by way of a video for your agent to engage with the database buyers. And you might be thinking, why would I bother? Well, with the first lot of restrictions that came around first time we were in lockdown, what happened was there were quite a number of purchases that were made subject to there being a physical viewing when restrictions eased. And maybe your agent might be able to do that for you now. If not, your agent and yourself are prepared, ready to go ahead of everyone else when restrictions ease.